Welcome to the best show about relationships. Become a free member on my website for my free 1 hour video, free advice, and much more. Subscribe and share this video, and let us go ahead and begin, shall we? All right. First comment on the chopping block today. Let's have a look here. Hey, so does it ever cross your mind that maybe the majority of relationships don't work out because the traditional patriarchal definition of monogamy is an outdated, unrealistic, and unnatural social construct that doesn't truly align with human nature? What a ridiculous comment. Yeah, because monogamy just doesn't make sense, right? You see, this is what happens when immature people start learning this terminology, because that's just the new fad for the past, 10 years, the past decade at least. We have to talk about monogamy, polygamy. Pretty much a swinger's lifestyle is what polygamy is. Polyamorous. Oh, but that's different because you're carrying actual relationships. No, you're not. And why isn't one person enough? Sure, you're free to do whatever you want with your life, but ask yourself one serious question. Why isn't one partner enough for you? Just because you can have relationships with a lot of people doesn't mean you should. You ever thought about that? Because what are the benefits? You're just wasting your life. Because all these people are with you because for the same reason you're with them. You're just using each other. Yes, you are using each other. Nature intends for you to have one partner, because all you're doing is ignoring what nature is trying to tell you. When you said, no, I can have two, I can have three, I can be a playa. And for the women out there too, I can have as many men as I want. Okay, go for it. Go ahead and find out, when you finally hit your head against that titanium wall, where that's going to lead to. It's a very dark place. Let me give you a preview. You're going to end up feeling alone, even though you're not alone. You're going to end up feeling lonely, but you're not alone. And then the sex is going to get very old. It's going to get very tiresome. Maintaining multiple polyamorous relationships. Call it whatever you want. All you're doing is just pretty much giving yourself away to multiple people taking advantage of you. And you might think you're having so much fun, and you're going to justify it in your brain that, hey, this is fun. No, it's not. Because none of these people actually care about you. They're going to tell you that they care about you. But the same question, once again, I'm going to ask all of you in a polyamorous relationship. Why isn't one enough? Because when you ask one person that in all these polyamorous, this polygamous relation, okay, they're going to say, I don't know, because that's just the way it is, right? And now this fool here is saying that monogamy is unnatural and unrealistic. What's so unrealistic about monogamy? And for those who don't know, monogamy is just being with one person. Hence the word mono. One person. So marriage, in other words. That's where it usually leads to, naturally, by the way. Now, marriage is an invention by man. But what does it mean? It means joining two together for the rest of their lives because they are fully committed to each other. Do you have to get married to a person to prove your love? No. But it's a logical thing to do, right? I'm not going to force you to get married, but the reason why most marriages don't work is because they're not seriously in love. They say they are, but they skip all the little tiny red flags that only they snowball into bigger red flags. And they pretend, oh, we'll take care of that later. Or, no, we're past that, but you really aren't, because there it comes up again and again. And people who pretend that monogamy doesn't work are prime losers. The first ones in line, the front row of the loserdom, the kingdom of losers. The ones living in denial who will say garbage like this. Patriarchal has nothing to do with that. And this is just fancy little words to say I'm a loser, justifying why I want to sleep with a bunch of people and call it love. No, it's not love. Because why isn't one enough? True love is being with a partner who's like 100 people in one. You don't need polygamy. You don't need to be polyamorous. One person with the excitement of 100 people in one. Yes, it exists because people who are truly in love with one person will tell you that. Man, she feels like I'm with 100 different women, I swear. She just blows my mind away. If your relationship isn't like that, it's not true love. It could be true love. It could develop into that level, that apex, the highest point. But that's up to you and your partner, isn't it? But if you want to settle for mediocrity, don't bash monogamy just because it's not working for you. And go ahead and downgrade yourself into a polyamorous situation. See how that goes. And the funniest part is as all of you grow older, you guys age, you should naturally, ironically, by this statement here, this comment, you should naturally start to be like, well, I don't think I can maintain this much longer. Yeah, you think? So there you go. You just wasted decades of your life pretending to have the best life when you know it's not. It's the most miserable, lonely life ever, because that's where it's going to end. Go ahead and keep convincing yourself. It's hilarious. I won't feel sorry for you. I'm just going to laugh at you. And don't say I didn't tell you so. You can have fun right now and call it, well, you know what? I'm in multiple relationships. I'm in love with all of them. Are you really, though? Are you? Because not one of them is enough. And you're not enough for them, obviously. Even if all of them are dedicated to just one person, let's say you're with 10 different women or you're with 10 different guys and they're with nobody else. You really think that's true? And even if it were so, you don't think that's a little unnatural and awkward of a situation? That's not love, buddy. That's not love, sister. And outdated. Because you say it's outdated, marriage is outdated. It's the only thing that makes sense. It's the only thing. So polyamory is for the losers. If I didn't say it any better, that's what I'm telling you. And this garbage right here, did it ever cross your mind as if you're saying something new? No, you're just justifying loser type behavior. That's all you're doing. All right, next comment here. I'm comfortable with the idea that I won't ever be in a committed monogamous relationship for the rest of my life. Are you really comfortable? Another person living in denial, calling a grown man my boyfriend. Look at the quotation marks. Look at the sarcasm. Look at the immaturity and the lack of any intellectual value. At my age, okay. Sounds silly. Really? And I don't think I'd ever trust another man to call them my partner. So they have trust issues. And look, the quotes are over partner. You're silly. You're immature. And no man should be with you with a bad attitude like that. Yeah. You got to get comfortable with that fact. Nobody's going to want to, no real man's going to want to have anything with you with that type of garbage mentality. So I'm glad you're comfortable with the idea of being a loser forever, because you don't have what it takes to fall in love with somebody. And you don't deserve somebody else's love. You don't. You're just going to be wasting their time with a trashy attitude like this. You have trust issues and you're going to be hesitant. So somebody burns you really bad, or you're just paralyzed by fear. Either way, it's just a ball of weakness that you're going to have to be comfortable with. The rest of your life is going to be uncomfortable. You're going to pretend like it's comfortable with this snotty little attitude of yours. Trust me. It's not. It's gonna get you nowhere fast. Only losers say garbage like this. Good for you that you won't ever trust somebody else because you lost and you're addicted to losing because you didn't learn anything from your loss. Nothing. Your past failed relationship or relationships, you didn't learn anything. That's what you're telling the world when you say garbage like that. All right, last comment of the show. Before I could step into polyamory, I had to master. Ooh, here we go. Take a step back, ladies and gentlemen. We're dealing with the master of polyamory. What healthy monogamy looks like. Oh, also a master of monogamy. Why are you stepping into polyamory if you're such a master of monogamy? I needed to understand boundaries, communication, emotional regulation, and how to show up fully for one person without losing myself. Oh, but you have lost yourself. You've lost your mind. Polyamory isn't an escape from relational work. Relational work? What does that even mean? It requires all those skills multiplied. Is this a job interview? Is this like a resume? What are we doing here? You can't skip the fundamentals. What are you even talking about? This is the most hilarious comment out of the three. Seriously? Like, bro doesn't even know what he's talking about, as they say nowadays. Doesn't even know what he's talking about. So you stepped into polyamory because monogamy didn't work for you. You're not a master of monogamy, because if you were a master of monogamy, you would never set foot in polyamory. You see how that works? Why would you switch up? Because you failed. You didn't master anything. You mastered failure with monogamy, and not even healthy monogamy, because it's obviously unhealthy, because now you're stepping into the world of polyamory. That's the loser's corner. Congratulations. Now you're just going to sleep around like a swinger and pretend to call it real relationships when you know they're not. They're pretend relationships. And you're going to waste decades of your life, and you're going to regret it when it's too little too late. You can't turn back the hands of time. That's what's going to happen to you. That's your dark fate. That's your future. A very dim future. Full of regret in the very end. Trust me. It's going to happen to you. And how to show up fully for one person. Fully? I don't think you even showed up partially with this type of attitude. And then he says, polyamory isn't an escape from relational work. You mean an escape from monogamy? What are you trying to say, relational work? Who even says that? Right? So, extremely immature comment here. What more can I say? And then he talks about skills. You didn't learn anything. You didn't learn any skills. Maybe how to be a player, how to act like you're in love, because you never fell in love in a monogamous relationship. Because if you fell in love in a monogamous relationship, then you'd have all the skills to stay in that relationship. You see? So you didn't learn any skills. Obviously, your skills failed. And then the fundamentals. You obviously know that true love means one person within another person. 1 + 1. You guys become one. So it's actually 1 + 1 = 1. Where two people become one together. Two halves of the heart. Polyamory is like this mutated mess that people call love. It's a joke. Anybody out there who's polyamorous is a joker. You're playing around with people's hearts, and you're pretending, you're actors. You're pretending to be in love when all of you know that you're not. Because one is never enough for you jokers. One person. You just gotta hoard everybody you can and call it, well, I'm polyamorous. What a joke. You guys are a joke. All right. So with that said, if you made it this far, it's time to become a free member on my website. You'll get free relationship advice and so much more, like access to my 1-hour video. Also, drop a comment with the topic that you'd like for me to cover in a future show. Much love, everybody.